stories of the day. This is our show where our team at CNBC TV 18 gets you the big headlines. I'm Shireen Bhani, you're watching Reporter's Diary. The big story today, while the UK is gearing up to start vaccination with the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine from the 4th of January, Indian regulators will probably wave the green signal for the vaccine candidates that are up for approval. The vaccine committee has sought additional information on the vaccines and is set to meet on the 1st to consider the approval from Serum Institute, Bharat Biotech and Pfizer. Our colleague Timsy Jayapuria, who's been tracking this story, joins us now with more. Timsy, in the meeting that took place yesterday, the committee has asked for more information. It will now take up the applications afresh when it meets tomorrow. Can we expect a clearance tomorrow?
Well, that's right. Confirming CNBC TV 18's news break, Health Ministry late on 30th December said that the subject expert committee will meet again on 1st of January to further consider the proposals of Serum Institute, Bharat Biotech and Pfizer. When it comes to Serum Institute seeking nod for their Covishield vaccine, they have submitted additional data, but more additional data has been sought. Prescribing information has been sought. Updated fact sheets have been sought, is what sources told us. And the Health Ministry in the statement said that they are still analyzing the data presented by them, and further analysis will go on and continue in the next meeting as well. For Bharat Biotech, also sources told us that more additional information on efficacy and data has been sought. And again, government said that for Bharat Biotech also, the analysis of existing data is continuing and more data has been sought. For Pfizer, Health Ministry clarified that they sought more time to present their case in front of SEC, and that has been granted. So let's see what happens on 1st of January. How close are we when it comes to giving emergency use authorization to any of these three vaccines? Back to you.
All right, Timsy, we will, of course, be tracking that meeting very closely. And Prime Minister Modi has said that India is now just days away from a COVID-19 vaccine. Speaking at the inauguration of the AIMS Rajkot in Gujarat, the Prime Minister added that preparations for the world's largest COVID vaccine rollout are in the last leg. Speaking at that separate event, the Drugs Controller General of India, V.G. Somani, also hinted at a vaccine approval soon. Listen in.
2021 इलाज की आशा लेकर के आ रहा है। वैक्सीन को लेकर भारत में हर जरूरी तैयारियां चल रही हैं। भारत में बनी वैक्सीन तेजी से हर जरूरी वर्ग तक पहुंचे, इसके लिए कोशिशें अंतिम चरणों में हैं। दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा टीकाकरण अभियान चलाने के लिए भारत की तैयारियां जोरों पर है। पहले मैं कहता था दवाई नहीं तो ढिलाई नहीं, लेकिन अब मैं फिर से कह रहा हूं, दवाई भी और कड़ाई भी। कड़ाई भी बरतनी है और दवाई भी लेनी है। दवाई आ गई तो सब छूट मिल गई, ये भ्रम में मत रहना। दुनिया यही कहती है, वैज्ञानिक यही कहते हैं, और इसलिए अब मंत्र रहेगा हमारा 2021 का, दवाई भी और कड़ाई भी।
The most important thing is the industry and the research organization, they have stood the test of time. And along with the efforts of the DBT and Biopharma mission, they have got also funding also. So, it has been a very wonderful experience. And probably we will have a happy new year with something in hand. That's what I can hint at.
Today, as of today, we have in Serum a stock of around 75 million doses of Oxford vaccine. And by first week of January, we'll have something around 100 million doses of an Oxford vaccine. Nobody has this much stock of the product. So as a country, we have so much of stock of the product, and everybody is looking at us to supply this product actually.
Well, the regulator, they're hinting that there could be good news in the new year on the vaccine front. A quick check of some of the other COVID-related headlines. As India inches closer to vaccine approval, the centre has asked states to gear up for the rollout. It's planned a dry run for vaccine administration in all states and union territories on the 2nd of January. The government places orders for procurement of nearly 83 crore syringes ahead of the mass vaccination program. Bids have also been invited for additional 35 crore syringes. India's active COVID case count for the 34th day falls to 2.58 lakh. This is as new cases stand at around 22,000 against recoveries of over 26,000. Increase in the death toll remains below 300 for the 6th day. The number of new UK variant COVID cases in India rise to 25 after 5 more returnees test positive for the strain. All 25 patients are in isolation at designated health facilities. Well, as 2020 draws to a close, everyone is hoping to celebrate. However, celebrations are likely to be muted under the shadow of COVID. In fact, across most big cities, authorities have announced several restrictions for the New Year Eve. What are those? Our reporters bring you details from Mumbai, Delhi and Chennai. Take a look.
We had a party today only, so I have celebrated kind of, and then after 31st we will again have a party.
Today I'm out with my friends, with my colleagues, so that's about it. This time we are not doing anything because of the pandemic and because most of my friends and including me are scared.
As the year comes to an end, most of us are not sure whether to celebrate the end of 2020 or the start of 2021. And since it has been an unusual year for all of us, the way you celebrate this time is also going to be a little different. If you are in Maharashtra, then restaurants, nightclubs will bring down the shutters sharp at 11 p.m. And also, since there's a curfew in the state, movement of people in groups of 5 or more than 5 won't be permitted beyond 11 p.m. But look at the brighter side. You can always check out the long list of online live events from music to dance to comedy. Also, if New Year dinners are a ritual, then you can always have your friends or family members over to have that intimate dinner and usher in the New Year. Also, who doesn't like catching up with old friends to bid goodbye to the passing year? But since that looks a little difficult this year, a Zoom call with all your friends seems to be the best option. But for now, I need to get going to plan my New Year evening. But we have Alisha joining us to tell us where's the party, rather house party in Delhi tonight. Alisha.
Delhiites sure know how to party in the face of adversity, though this time these gatherings will have to be smaller and a bit more intimate, as the Delhi police has come up with a comprehensive set of guidelines to ensure that New Year's Eve celebrations in the city remain safe. Delhi will have a night curfew on the 31st of December and 1st Jan from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. in public places. But do not worry about your parties having to end early, as there are exemptions for licensed premises like bars and restaurants, which can go on to host parties beyond 11 p.m. as long as they are following strict guidelines by the Ministry of Home Affairs and social distancing requirements. Additionally, the police has also mandated that organizers of parties should have prior permission from the police, or they could be charged with penalties. Similarly, in the NCR region, there are similar restrictions. In Noida, for instance, New Year's Eve gatherings are capped at 100 people. But given all of these restrictions, there are plenty of ways to celebrate still. For instance, you can check into your favorite 5-star hotel in the city to enjoy a safe staycation. You can opt for an elaborate winter brunch and go for a sundowner so you get to home in time. Or you can even choose to do a private party on the outskirts of the city with your own set of friends, so you're assured that you are in safe company.
Well, 2020 has been a year like no other, and that's perhaps why New Year's Eve in Chennai will also be a tad different this year. For the first time in years, revelers will not be allowed to party and frolic on Chennai's famous Marina Beach, even as arterial roads leading to the beach have been cut off. Public gatherings on roads like this one and places like hotels, restaurants and pubs will also not be allowed. Although there technically is no night curfew in place, revelers will not be allowed to gather in large numbers on beaches or roads much like this one. However, on the brighter side, there is no restriction on house parties or even dinners at several restaurants, which is why most hotels in the city are organizing New Year's Eve dinners, quiet affairs that you could probably catch up on or even get together with a bunch of friends, enjoy a movie or order in some pizza. It's a different New Year of sorts, but that does not mean you can't have fun, even as you count down to 2021.
Well, so that's the list of do's and don'ts if you are planning to go out to celebrate New Year Eve tonight. Stay safe, stay warm if you happen to be in the north of India. Now, Reliance Jio has announced that all of net domestic voice calls will be free starting the 1st of January. For context, Jio had started charging its customers for off-net voice calls at a rate equivalent to the applicable interconnect user charge, or IUC. Now, for more clarity on that, let's go across to Rima. Rima, explain what this means for companies as well as for consumers.
Thanks so much for that. Interconnect usage charge will be brought down to zero from 1st January 2021. IUC is a cost paid by one telecom operator to another operator when its customer makes an outgoing mobile call to another network, to another operator's customer. This is also what's called as an off-net call. Now, up until now, IUC was charged at 6 paise per minute. This will be brought down to zero from 1st January 2021, which means all voice calls which are made to another network will be free in 2021. Now, Reliance Jio up until now used to charge 6 paise for these off-net domestic voice calls, but that's why they've indicated that from 1st January in the new year, all these calls are going to be free. Now, the implications are, one, this move comes in on expected lines because the TRAI had long back said that IUC will be brought down to zero from 1st January 2021. Secondly, it's unlikely to have a significant P&L impact on any of the operators. Remember, none of the operators officially disclose whether IUC is a net cost for them or they are beneficiaries of the IUC regime and what the actual outgo or inflow is. But when we spoke to a few market men, the understanding is that considering the fact that Vodafone Idea has been losing market share, it could be a beneficiary with IUC getting abolished. For Reliance Jio, it could be slightly negative, but bear in mind now their plans become cheaper because they're no longer charging from their customers for the voice calls, so their plans could become a little more competitive, while for Bharti Airtel, it should be a largely neutral move.
All right, Rima, many thanks for joining us. A check of the other headlines today.